Hello, friends. First, let's address the obvious. Yes, it's true. My mustache has been repossessed. I am hoping to negotiate its safe return, but for the time being, this is what I'm working with. I haven't seen myself without a mustache for several years, and before I looked in the mirror, I thought, maybe there's a really handsome face under that mustache. Turns out, that is not true. So, I apologize that this is what you have to look at. Anyway, what are we talking about today? The question is, are deadlifts worth the risk? I think when I say the word deadlift, a lot of people are thinking about the type of mentality in this video, the go for broke mentality, the deadlift by any means necessary mentality. We see people on the internet and in real life taking 114% of their 1 rep max and trying to stand up with it without any real regard for technique or whether or not their spine even stays inside their body. If this is your approach to deadlifting, I would say that deadlifting is not worth the risk. But I do think deadlifting is worth the risk, and maybe the better question is, how should I approach deadlifting in a way that I can get stronger now, but I can also continue to deadlift 10 years from now? If I approach it from the angle that I want to have a healthy spine for the rest of my life, and that is a higher priority than hitting an all-time best in deadlift, I can reduce the risk and I can maximize the benefits of deadlifts. Well, how do I do that? Let me give you 4 recommendations for how to reduce the risk and maximize the benefits. Number 1, focus on your technique and your mobility at least as much as you do on your working sets. Don't be afraid to take off a bunch of weight in order to correct errors. Then slowly work your way back up. When I first switched from a powerlifting squat to a full range of motion squat, my 1 rep max dropped by about 80 pounds or so. It took me more than 2 years to dial in the technique that I wanted and bring my squat numbers back up. And don't be afraid to ask for help. You can't see yourself. You may think you're doing one thing, but in reality, you're doing something totally different. Ask people you trust for input, and that can be live and in person or by taking video of your lifts. Have cues when you lift. Your mind should not be blank when you approach the barbell. And you shouldn't be thinking about the pizza you're going to crush after your workout. You should be focused on exactly how you are going to move the bar. An example of a cue might be chest up or drive with your legs. It should be 2 or at the most 3 things to remind yourself about your positions and how you want to move the barbell. Any more than 3 and you won't be able to focus on any of it. 2 is good, 3 is the max. Number 3, do not accept less than perfect technique. We all have a perfect technique, 1 rep max, and then an absolute 1 rep max, that life or death 1 rep max, when your back starts to round as you pull and your lizard brain kicks in and says, I'm making this lift no matter what. My recommendation is to not do that. Try to increase that technically perfect 1 rep max or 5 rep max or 10 rep max. Be technically precise, then try to go heavier within that framework. But as soon as there's a hint of your technique breaking down, go lighter and continue to make corrections. Number 4, my last recommendation is balance. As firefighters and as humans, we all need strength. We all need some level of endurance. We all need mobility. We all need to be ready when our number is called. We all want healthy backs and healthy knees and the capacity to run and play with our kids and our grandkids. So my recommendation for your long-term health is to stay balanced and put in work in all areas of your fitness. If you only do powerlifting without any mobility work or conditioning, or if you only do yoga and don't do strength training, if you only run ultra marathons, necessary areas of your health and fitness will suffer. So yes, I think deadlifts are worth the risk, but let's be intentional with how we train smart, minimize the risk, and maximize the benefit. That's all I got. Tell me how ugly I am in the comments. and I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. See you next week.